Hello there, welcome back. We are going to continue with the season. We had a pretty good season opening here. We're, well, 20 points ahead of Red Bull, thanks to them crashing out each other last race. Driver Championship's looking good too, first and third. And honestly, if Verstappen has a pretty good season towards the end, we might be in danger, but right now it's looking very, very promising. The first few races here are actually probably when we'd be suffering the most due to us not being able to juggle our engines. Basically, take advantage of the engine compared to the AI. So this is a very good start. But that's all there is to it. We can only hope it will continue. Let's jump straight into the next race here and see how it goes. Decent qualifying performance here, third and sixth. We are of course bested by the Red Bulls. Strategies here, I expected one stop for the most part, maybe a two stop up, but we are having rain, so this will probably go on and go out the window. In terms of the compounds here, the softs degrade pretty quick. As you can see, mediums is kind of what you want to be on, as much as possible. They're just straight up better than the hards. 30 laps before they start losing out, so yeah, we kind of want to stick in the mediums. The softs will do the job, but again, the degradation there is pretty harsh, so within 10 laps you basically are going to start losing out to the cars around you. Could definitely be good for like a final stint, but at the same time, not really that reliable. We are going to have rain, so the safety car deployment will probably be a bit higher than just 40%. Pit lane is long, so we'll have to deal with that. And as you can see here, it's going to be wets, inters, slight wet, and then... yeah, this is going to be a weird one. There's like 3 small wet areas. And of course, this can change during the race, which I actually do like. Again, I just like a little bit of better knowledge of how much this means. I know I say this every time, so I apologize, but it's something that just really grinds my gears, and it's a bit of an annoyance, because this graph doesn't mean anything if you don't know the, the levels. But it does look like, as said, we're going to immediately get into wet territory for about 5-6 laps. Which might be worth going and putting on the wets there if you can get by the other cars. Another wet period of about 4 laps. Again, we're going to need about 8 seconds a lap on the other cars if it's to make it worth it. And this here is going to be the tricky one if we want to pit for wets before the end. But for now, let's set up the strategy with the rain in mind. So rain arrives lap 20. I think we'll just start on the mediums. It's just the easiest choice here. They will last long enough. They'll be generally pretty quick, and we can get there safely. We can also have a quick look here on what we can expect from, of course, the AI performance. So those that start on softs are going to pit before rain. Just know that ain't happening. Medium and hard runners are going to be fine. They're not going to have the races ruined because of the rain. And yeah, as you can see, pit stop is estimated around here, so they're both safe. We're going to just start on mediums. We're going to use them a bit more aggressively, I think, to take advantage of the fact that, well, we know rain is coming. And we'll see what we can do here. But honestly, I think this is the best choice. We could, of course, start on softs, but then again, we have less flexibility, and I like having that flexibility.
In anticipation of this,
As you can see, Red Bulls on the front here. I think I see white banding on the Alpine.
and it's lights out, and away we go.
So Bottas, Schumacher, Behrman, and Tsunoda are all going to suffer. Leclerc and Rick going to suffer a little bit too. But generally, yeah, I think we have a very good chance. Stroll is already fighting with Leclerc, kind of what we expect. And he might actually get him here pretty much immediately, or maybe not. We'll see. He does have that inside line for the next corner, which is pretty powerful. Latifi is still where he started. As I say that, it makes a place up on Rick. So yeah,
Doing a good job.
honestly, a pretty good start here. Both cars kind of gaining.
Overtake from Williams.
So for now, we're basically going to do the same as we did, well, every other race this season. We're going to try and stick with the Red Bulls and take advantage, well, in this case, and last time out when the rain comes. So it's looking very good. DRS will open at the end of this lap. And honestly, I think that this, what we actually do right now is just have Stroll stay put. Well, he's in the lead now, so we can definitely have him just stay put.
DRS is enabled.
And with that, we'll just tune him down a little bit. Latifi, I would like him to get by Russell, so that he actually is completely connected. There we go. to the Red Bulls, but now we can basically just chill, save some fuel, and once that rain comes, we'll have to see what we
And a
do.
new
Because
position
again,
just gained by Williams.
depending on how quick the wet tires are, it might be very, very worth it to go on them, pay for inters around here, and then probably skip this one, but maybe here. We'll see. It's a bit of a
Red Bull
it's
moves
gonna be
on.
rough to predict how things are gonna develop here, but for now we're just gonna try and hold positions. Both our cars fighting one of the Red Bulls. They'll probably stick together, but if they can't, they can't. And we'll see where we are when the rain starts. We are getting closer to now the wet period. Everything has gone out kind of like predicted here. There's a gap between the top 7 down to 8. Rain is starting in 4 minutes, which means we have still a couple laps that we can run before the raining period starts. But I'm thinking we just go full on attack here and make that gap a little bit bigger. I probably should have been more aggressive earlier. But to be fair, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference because the Red Bulls are still going to be on us. The only thing that's going to happen is that we get more gaps to Sainz than the rest, which honestly is beneficial to us. So I should have done this earlier. Rain is now slated for 2 minutes. I think we're going to gamble on getting Latifi in on this lap. I know that it says 2 minutes, but it's on, well, basically when this ticks over. So when this ticks over to 23, it'll say 1 minute, and it can start within that minute. So what I'm thinking is we get Latifi in immediately onto the wets. We are going to gamble on the wets here. And it's going to hurt quite a bit if we get this wrong. Don't get me wrong. And as you can see, some runners here have actually been fine. They have survived on those tires. So good on them. But we're going to get Latifi in here. He's going to be taking him all to pit. We might have to run him a bit slower just to be safe here. Because as you can see, it's not started raining yet. Like, the gamble will probably not pay off for him. And we are going to run him light here so that he doesn't completely destroy them immediately. It's actually taking the full minute here for the rain to start. That is unfortunate. But it is starting now, so we kind of got Stroll in at the perfect time. We can put Latifi up to normal. And he's going to have an incredibly slow lap here.
Light rain in the pit lane at the moment.
And let's see here when Stroll comes out. He comes out ahead of Vettel, well, behind him now. But we should be okay. The thing is, Latifi lost out a ton, so they'd kind of screw him over massively. But that is the gamble we took, and it has backfired. Rain is going up pretty aggressively, though. We'll have to see what the others do here. Stroll is getting by Vettel. And again, probably gonna not have both Red Bulls pit, so still not completely bad, but still not great. Stroll is now in the final corner. And I would think we lost out maybe a little bit. No, not really. So Stroll actually came out here with an advantage. They went immediately onto the inters though, so we're going to have to make this work and gain enough of a gap that we can change to the inters once, well, this starts in 2 minutes. So probably not worth it, honestly.
It's a race position gained for a Mercedes.
We'll see what the lap times say and the gaps we get. I'm wondering what Leclerc, Perez, and the others are going to go onto, though. That's my big question. Russell, the big winner, as you can see. So Sonoda went onto the wets, but the rest did not. So that's going to suck. Gio's still out there on the hards.
And a new position.
Yeah, this
Just
definitely did
gained by
not
Williams.
pay off for us. And I think we just go full. We should probably go full attack a bit early on these, to be honest. Gonna push fuel a little bit too, because we are gonna have to pit again. Probably just on this lap. So what we learned here is, yeah, as you see, this fell down a bit harder than earlier. I should have checked this before we pitted. But we're gonna have to go on the inters, and we're gonna have to basically fight our way back. So we're kind of giving back here from, you know, the advantage we got in Australia, but it's all on me. I should recheck the forecast before. Let's see now where we actually come out. We should come out behind Bottas, I think. Yeah, just about. And for Latifi, it's going to be a bit worse. But to be fair, we could have also gambled on just going on the inters. I don't think we would have lost a lot of time. So that's on me. Go a bit balanced here. We have free air to work with. We'll save fuel when we need to get by someone. Latifi down in 16th. Board is not going to be happy with this. But we'll try and fight our way up here. And again, we'll see if anything changes once we get close to lap 45, close to lap 57. But I would imagine we are going to have to pit on these tires again. I don't really see a scenario where we don't. Or maybe we can make it last at the end, but is it quicker? Is the big question here. So this versus this, okay. Which is quicker? They're about equal, as you can see. You save about a second just not pitting again. So honestly, we might just not pit. We'll see. It'll depend though. That's the thing. And we'll give Latifi the overtake here. And I'll try and get my boys back in 2-point scoring positions. Stroll is there, but we of course would have liked to get more than just 2 points. So we'll try our best, and we'll see if I can make up for this error of mine. No real luck in the second window, as you can see here. The bar is over, just 3.6 though. So again, I really would just like to have numbers representing what they expect. They don't need to be 100% correct, but I'd like to just know what I can expect. This should tell us though that there will be interest for this too. Just no way there won't be. And as a result, we are going to have to, deal with the circumstances as they are. We are up in 6th for Stroll. We are running slightly slower than Leclerc, but we're going to hope the Rick can hold him up. 20 laps to go though. It is going to be... It's going to be difficult, let's just put it that way. Because the tires will last to the end. We can actually see that on Latifi here. And for Stroll too, the tires will last to the end. He has less degradation than expected. But at the same time, the problem is going to be straight up that we don't have enough laps to catch up. So, bit of a watch of a race. If I'd gone into this immediately, I think we would have been more than 100% safe. But I wanted to take every advantage that I could and played it more risky than I should have. So what could have been an advantage turned into a huge disadvantage. It's nothing more to than that. I made a mistake in judgment. But Stroll is, again, just doing his best here. Leclerc is clearly faster, as you can see here. Running 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths average a lap. We are quicker than Ricciardo, so again, gonna need him to hold up Leclerc if we want any chance of, ending it a little bit higher. Either that or that elusive safety car. But we'll see. There's not much we can do. We are going to start pushing fuel though for both our drivers. We are starting to get to that point. And for Latifi here, we actually do need to give him the overtake so he can try and get by, Behrman and of course Magnussen. So hopefully can do that, get a little bit of free air to start going after Paris.
DRS is currently disabled.
And it looks like he might have pulled it off. Just about. So we're going to, hopefully now Magnussen got it back. We're going to run a couple laps of recharge and just keep on trying to work up. He too is going to have a hard time to get into the points here, unless of course we have a lucky safety car. So we'll see what happens. We are getting closer to that final lap. Once again, the rain wasn't as bad as expected. Basically, intestine highway would have been the better choice. We made a mistake. We did find our way back up to 6th though. Unfortunately, we won't get neither Rick nor Leclerc. Don't have enough time, 3 seconds behind. Stroll did basically everything we can here. We do have a tiny bit of tire left, but not enough to, make up 3 seconds. On the other end of the scale, the only thing we can hope for here now is Verstappen doesn't overtake Russell. So need Russell to defend like a lion.
Sun's coming out now.
And honestly, it's a miss on the strategy, but again, I think it was the more fun choice. Might have been a case of me throwing a bit. No lucky safety car, no instance of any kind of safety cars, just a few yellow flags from, say, battle locking up. And unfortunately, nothing I could help is take back advantage here. And as you can see here, Stroll's close, but not close enough to really launch an attack here on this final lap. Verstappen did get Russell though, so that's going to suck a bit for us. And if Leclerc here gets Ricciardo, that's going to suck a bit more, but not much we can do. Honestly, we did what we could with the bad strategy. Also a bad call, let's be honest. And we still got Stroll back in the points, so it's not a complete, screw up, but at the same time, if I put both cars on Inters, we probably could have just gone for a 1-2. The First rainy period was probably the only time I would have planned to go for the wets there because it was 6-7 laps, but then it changed pretty aggressively, so that did cause us some pain. So Red Bull wins with a first and a fifth place, Merc second, Ferrari third, then we have Alpine, Ferrari, McLaren finishing out the points, with our Stroll just getting 3. Driver Championship then was still pretty safe because, well, Red Bull tomfoolery. And in the constructors here, Red Bull gains a massive 11 points on us, meaning that we don't have twice their points now. We have, well, a bit less. Do we get a development point though for Latifi? He's gonna need it. And we actually got a decent amount of money, even though we kind of had a bad result, so I'll take that. Factory refurbished complete, good. And as I said, Latifi up to 90, then we'll start averaging his stats as well. He does need a little bit more adaptability. Suspensions has been manufactured, very good. I believe they are on the car already, they are. So, car, still really good, don't get me wrong. But we do need a little bit of extra edge because we are lacking in terms of drivers. Which is just, you know, the reality of the situation, unfortunately. Suspension complete for the manufacturing. We're going to have Miami in 5 days. That could be an interesting one. We do want to save, I believe, a extra set of parts there. New CFD time, wind tunnel. Performance targets have been set. Car development. I still think we're fine because let's face it, once we get the huge package in 20 days, well, 4 weeks, this is going to basically make the car incredibly hard to beat. So we'll see what we do then. Might just start focusing a little bit more on research, switch over. Let's say we do 4 projects maybe, then focus research. Because next season is going to be the final season. It just has to be because we're now 10 days away from release. I should be able to do 2 seasons in 10 days. And I am planning basically just the entire day once the game comes out. And make a few videos. So let's see what we get done here. Let's jump into Miami. Let's focus on this for now. And I think we have, I think we have a good chance here. The other team's engines, gearboxes are going to start to suffer. So this is where we might have a bit of an opportunity to do something different. Of course, the interesting part this season is that we're going to have to take penalties somewhere that probably isn't the back of the pack. So we'll see how we deal with that. All right, we had our first incident for Miami. I'm doing P3 manually so that we have an extra set of parts. And Stroll decided that, well, he wasn't part of that.
We can take a look now.
I'm curious how the tire allocation is going to look because we were doing the first run on the softs. Probably should have done them on the hards just to get that out of the way. But as you can see, Stroll decided to completely eat the guardrail there. I don't think I've ever seen a car go that deep, so that's a bit of an interesting one. But yeah, Stroll's out there. Latifi's doing his thing. Bit unfortunate. Looks like we'll have a bunch of damage. Latifi's already lost a front wing this weekend in one of the simulator practices.
Yeah,
so
P0.
We'll see how that goes. But for now, we'll let Latifi do his thing. Stroll might be having a bit of a problem here because, well, if he loses an extra set of hards, that's actually going to suck. And I'll show you why in just a second. For now, though, I'll get through the practice here.
There's a big crash.
And we'll get through quali, and we'll see where we stand after that. Pretty good quali again. 3rd and 6th, same as last time around. For Latifi, however, he is just 3/400ths, not even that, of 4th place, improving by 2. So, honestly, it's pretty close here from 4th really down to 10th, just a little over 2 tenths. So, for Latifi's sake, we basically need every single, ounce that we can get out of this car in terms of pace. Rebel, Rapid, Leclerc, almost a full second ahead of Stroll. 6 tenths ahead of his teammate. So I assume he has new parts. Now, the crash that Stroll had in practice is detrimental for a couple of reasons. Mainly because the practice engine took a whooping. And so did the ERS, and that's going to be problematic down the line. In comparison, Latifi's practice engine is 64, and Stroll's was at 35. So that's a lot of practices lost for virtually no reason. Now, in terms of our race strategy here, we, as I said, qualified 3rd and 6th. Strategies here are going to be, for the most part, 2-stoppers with potential medium to hard 1-stopper. And as we can see here, in terms of the tire compounds, the mediums will be quicker than the hards for just 5 laps. Then the hards takes it over and will be quicker until the end of its life cycle. Softs to mediums is about the same, just 5 laps. And softs to hard is even rougher. They lose almost a tenth every lap. Well, they lose right up below that. But even that is just 5 laps and the hards are better. So hards just superior in every way. And that is why I wanted to save 2 sets of hards here. Pit lane is medium length, 24 seconds, 33% safety car chance. So can't really bank on that. But in the practice that I was watching, there were double digits number of incidents, but Stroll was still the only one who had DNF due to a crash. So virtual safety car, probably going to happen, I think. Otherwise, everyone just had a bad day in P3. But we'll see what we do here. We could start off on the softs. Latifi, for instance, has softs to start on. And if we do, his strategy is going to look something akin to maybe this. So yeah, something like this maybe. So we'd be pitting very early. Lap 15, I think is the sweet spot there. And let's see, there's 52 laps, 15 away from 52, 37, split into 18, 19. So we'd want to run for something like this. Yeah, this is actually pretty good. It's 8 seconds quicker than standard strategy, but as you can see, it's equal to the medium one. And well, we could try medium hard and see if that would be any better. But I think it's mainly going to be when we pit. That's going to be the big one here. When we pit, it's going to decide a lot for us. But as you can see, most likely doing just medium hard is going to be better. Could do soft to try and get up there early, but most likely going to get just a second in the DRS train if we can't get any gaps. So starting on the hards, doing a medium stint, and then doing another hard stint is probably the play here. We're going to be slower at the start, but we can run longer. We'll have better gaps to slip into. But at the same time, we kind of need to stick with the cars in front of us. So what I'm thinking is that we do a split strategy. We put Latifi on the hard from the get-go. Do a medium stint before we do hard again. And it's just figuring out where the balance lies when we start to lose out a lot. So about that should work. It's still not amazing, but it should get the job done. It's just going to be a very short medium stint where we can push a little bit if we want to. And I think that should be an acceptable strategy. And we'll put Stroll on the opposite, start him on the mediums, put him on the hards around lap, what did we figure out, 17? Switch on lap 37-ish. Give him 15 laps, 20 laps. Yeah, something like that. That should work. And as you can see, the other strategies are just marginally slower. You don't save a ton by doing this, but again, it's just the flexibility of having the hards. I feel like it's worth it. So this is what we're going for. Split strategies, so we can cover off the Red Bulls, and at the same time, you know, take advantage of the extra tires we saved. So I'm hoping this will work out. It might not. It might just be me being a bit too aggressive. Well, not really aggressive. Paranoid, maybe. And doing a bit too much here, but we'll see.
One of the newest races in F1, and hopefully one of the most exciting too.
Looks like Red Bull has done the same here.
Miami Grand Prix.
Medium and hard.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
So, a bunch of hard runners, some medium runners. Magnus is still up here, Gas is still up here. Looks pretty good though. Stroll actually gets Verstappen off the line. That is beautiful. Now we do need Latifi to just get by Magnussen and Rick as quick as possible. Because, well, we want to stay with the Red Bulls. And, the qualifying pace that Latifi has is kind of a stretch right now to, you know, just staying with the Red Bulls on race start, but I think we'll be okay. He might actually get Magnussen here, can he? He does, so he's making up for it in the races, mainly because we can use ERS, we push fuel. So, yeah. It's going to be, I hope it's going to be a harder game next year around. But now the Stroll is actually running first. Sorry, that is Latifi. Stroll's actually running first, so we'll tune him down a tad. But yeah, this is going to be a track where if we leave, say, Verstappen behind, it's actually going to benefit us immensely. So I might just go with deploy here for Stroll, in the hopes that we leave Verstappen behind. But no, actually, that's actually detrimental, because Leclerc is the quick one. Right now, that is. If we have a look at the car parts here, our car is looking good. But if we look at Verstappen, damage somewhat engine, gearbox is about to fail. Leclerc, fresher engine, fresher gearbox. He has advantage there. But a lot of the cars here, as you can see, are starting to take damages. They're going to be slow due to parts. So in the next few races here, they're going to put in new ones, like we have. And that's when we're going to start to suffer. But we're going to slow Stroll down here, as we did, because of the hopes that we can get a bit of a DRS train going here. But we do also want to push now. Push away, see if we can detach Rick, like we kind of are doing. Because creating a gap to the others would actually benefit us a lot more as well. So we'll see if we can. Latifi here is going to struggle to probably hold on now, because I didn't tune down his ERS usage quick enough. Yeah, he is. As you can see here, he's now part of... Well, he's in charge of that second DRS train now. But I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with most of the cars around him. I think the best we can hope for is actually just sticking to a damaged Verstappen. And that should just tell you how kind of screwed we are. So we'll have Latifi push fuel a little bit more, just to catch up. Then we'll tune him down. Then we'll just play it slow and try and stay with Verstappen. We might not be able to. Some gaps have formed, but they're not good. Well, they're not big enough yet to really make something happen. And I'm a bit conflicted in whether we should push to have Leclerc and basically Leclerc and Stroll push, get away from the rest of the pack, or if you want to try and slow things down and bridge that gap to Latifi. For now, though, we'll just allow the race to progress. We kind of have to. And we'll be back around that first pit stop around lap 17. Let's see if we can maintain until then. Alright, we're getting close to that first pit window. As you can see, Stroll's still running second. Latifi's still running, well, fifth now, but still within that first DRS train. And we actually have some gaps here. So what I'm thinking is we're going to have Stroll just go a bit aggressive here, because I like to get a little bit more of a gap here to this huge DRS train. We could also try and stretch, honestly. In terms of lap times, we're doing 34s. They're doing, well, 36s. So we're getting about a second and a half currently every lap. It'll still take a few laps to, you know, get a, well, huge advantage. Well, we actually need to look at Sainz. I'm looking at the wrong car. So we're actually slower right now. As you can see, we're slower than Sainz. And that is a concern. So that gap is not going to become, potentially not going to become any bigger. It might actually become slower. Depends though on the fights and who's leading it. So for now, we're just going to allow things to kind of progress. I think we'll go aggressive though. Just push for a couple of laps here. Just push fuel, push tires. And it's going to be a bit risky. We actually have other cars pitting too. It's going to be a bit risky, but at the same time, I kind of feel like we have to. The problem here also is that we could detach Latifi by doing this. We already have, but I think it's needed for Stroll's race. He kind of needs to push it, get in, get onto the hard tire, and hopefully we'll come out in, sorry, the medium tire. This is the wrong car. What am I doing? Yeah, get him into the hard tire. There we go. Estimate to come out 14th, so round Geo here. But I can always hope that we have a good stop. Yeah, this looks like 14th. 12th. So we are in a DRS train that is going to be a bit painful, let's face it. But we do have fuel, we do have a tiny bit of ERS. So we can always try and, you know, get up here. But for now, we're just going to harvest for a lap. We do have a little bit of gap here. So I don't think we'll get overtaken even while running on harvest. So we'll harvest while we close up that DRS train in front. and then we will try and just pick our way through it as painlessly as we can. Which might actually just be happening right now. So we shall see. We actually kind of just stepped aside there for Albon. What was that, Stroll? Did you brake a little bit too late? Because that was kind of silly. Tune down the usage here. Yeah, that was kind of silly there from Stroll, honestly. We are getting close to the first pit stop here for Latifi. He's still in that DRS train. And we are going to try and just get the overtakes done here. We need to get further up the track. Bottas has crashed out.
Okay, here's the Ferrari.
Pretty standard in Miami, that crash, to be fair. But we do need to, as I said, just try and get Stroll through this DRS train. It's being a bit painful. But at the same time, it needs to be done. And I could probably get it done on the straight, but it would cost a lot of energy. For Latifi here, we're getting very, very close to the pit stop. So starting on the hards was probably the better option, just looking at that. Stroll should potentially come out ahead of them. Maybe. But right now it's looking, you know, kind of challenging, honestly. We're going to use all of our energy on the straight here to see if we can... No, we cannot. We don't have enough energy, I think, to get by. Or do we? We actually did. Okay. But we lost the position immediately. And judging by the gap here, Stroll probably did the brakey thing and just let him go. Which is one of the annoyances on this track with trying to overtake. Is that particularly here, they'll just brake and let them go. Now, what I'm assuming here is that these guys might all be on one-stop strategies because they're still staying out. Kind of want to pit Latifi here, but at the same time, he is not in the best position to do so. So he's going to come out within that DRS train, and that's just going to be painful for him too. But I don't think we have much of a choice here. We do want to get that one medium stint in. So let's get him in this lap, put him on full attack. And for Stroll here is still just, you know, kind of suffering in the behind Gio. But we'll try and make the best out of this. It's kind of it's not a good situation, but it is what it is. We're just going to have to live with it. And once again, we shouldn't use all energy here because he'll just get us on the exit. Let's see if Stroll gets re-overtaken. He did not. And Latifi actually came out ahead of that train behind Sainz. So Latifi actually had a really, really good pit stop. He'll get DRS and he'll be able to get by Sainz and potentially cause some stretches in this field because there are a lot of old hard tires here. So the stretches that he might cause is going to be really, really good for us. Provided, of course, it gets by Sainz. I'm thinking we give him push this lap. He should get by Sainz. We actually have some cars peeling off now to pit, which isn't much of a surprise, really. And currently, it is looking good, kinda. So we will see now. I'm gonna just have him push for a little bit while longer, see if we can create some gaps here with Sainz, with everyone. And it looks like he kind of is. Now, Leclerc has pitted. Can we beat him with both our cars? Only Latifi by the looks of it. So Leclerc is kind of got a benefit there, which is going to suck for us. Well, not for us, for Stroll in particular. Give him overtake. He should make it by Norris, even with just this. Yep. Put him back to neutral so he doesn't use everything on the straight. And we do kind of need him to get with Leclerc immediately. Now, is this a safety car? It is. What we could do here, I think Stroll is past the pit entry line, isn't he? Yeah, he's past the pit stop entrance. Even if we give the order, I don't think he's gonna pit. This does play straight into Verstappen and Russell's hands, though. Because we're gonna have to pit again, and if they go on the hards, they won't. Let's see here. There's no point running anything other than just conserve right now. I don't think we'll get picked up by the safety car immediately. Nope. Latifi did also beat Verstappen out, so that is good. The question now is, do we want to pit them immediately for hards? Because we could. Question is just, where would we come out if we did so? So, Rick is currently running in the lead. He's going to pit for sure. There's just no reason, no way he won't. So, let's check what the expectation is. 16 seconds. So if we pit, we'll lose 16 seconds. Which would place us around 8, 9. I think we're just staying out, honestly. And we'll do the second pit stop a bit later. It is a bit of a gamble, for sure. Because if we can't get gaps, we're just going to do what we did here with Stroll getting kind of bogged down in the midfield. So, it's a risk, but one that I'm willing to take. And as you see, Rick actually gets a completely free pit stop. Benefited a lot from just staying out on those hards. But yeah, Verstappen is definitely pitting again. Rick is definitely pitting again. Leclerc might go to the end. Same for Magnussen. But a lot of these cars are going to be pitting again. So we will try and take advantage of that. Now, for Latifi, if he could break away, let's face it, he won't be able to. He isn't quick enough. That could work. So for now, we'll just put him on neutral. Stroll, on the other hand, we would like to kind of be a bit more aggressive with. And see if we can get up a little bit higher. If we can get the gap forming to Magnussen immediately, that would be big. Before, you know, DRS. Because then again, we just have the 5 cars. Gaps are already starting to form. I would love that. So we're going to give Stroll overtake. In the hopes that that just closes down that extra half a second we might need. To create the gap here, but Stroll is off the track, spinning.
It's a spin.
Unfortunate. Nothing I can do about that.
Now let's have a look. It's Lance Stroll. They spun the car.
Yeah, nothing much you can do about that. And with the field so tightly packed, it's kind of hard to come back. Which means Latifi is now our point of interest. I think what we do is just run Stroll aggressively, get into the back of the pack, try and get us through as high as we can before that pit stop. And we'll try and make something work. But at least, on a positive note, we did get that gap to Magnussen. But it is very volatile. We'll see if he actually closes it down. And it looks like Latifi is going to be able to at least get Rick, probably with some DRS help. But right now, we kind of just want to... Basically, the question now is, do I want to try and push and get away, or do I want to just sit here with the rest and react to the pit stop?
And there's an overtake from Williams.
For now, though, I think we're just going to sit there and react, and we'll wait until we do basically pit stop for both our boys here. Can probably go a bit more aggressive on Latifi's tyres and just for a lap or two, see if it creates a bit of a gap. But I think we're going to have a hard time, as I said, creating the gap to the cars behind. We do have Verstappen, though, potentially being a slight blocker here, so...
And a new position.
Let's gamble. Let's see if we can push Latifi hard enough here that he... No, he's not going to be able to get away. It's just not going to happen. We'll save fuel so we can push for the entire last stint, I think, is the better option here. Stroll is, as you can see, also struggling to catch up to the back of the pack. He is running a lot quicker than them by almost 2 seconds, though, so probably not struggling, just taking his time. We'll tune down his fuel, we'll try and get him through, and we'll see what we do in terms of pitting. It's a very, very weird race, honestly. But the gap has been formed, and we kind of need Latifi to just stay out as long as possible. I think Leclerc has an excellent chance of winning this, and even if the medium runners stay out, they're going to be... It's going to be hugely advantageous for them to do so. Joel is still just struggling with the Aston. Which is fair. He does have low tire wear. Speed things up a bit. I don't think there's much we can do at this stage, other than, you know, just sit and wait. micromanaging Stroll would help, but still, he's going to have a hard time getting up into the points. We are going to have to pit again, and that is kind of the idea here. If we pit Stroll, push his fuel, try and make up as many positions for the people who might or might not pit again.
Let's close this gap.
I think that is going to be the play. And for Latifi here, we kind of just need to have him stay out for a few more laps. But even then, he is going to be at the back of the pack once he pits. That is the main concern here. Verstappen has actually made it past the cars now too. Yeah, we want to make these last to the end. It's just a question of when do we pit. If we pit now, we are going to have gaps to work with, as we can see from Stroll. 18 seconds. So I'm thinking we pit Latifi. He's kind of pushing them all along at this stage anyways. So let's get him in. Get him on the hards. This is once again kind of a gamble, because if none of them pit, it's going to be a bit rough. But I think it's worth it. And is this another safety car? No, Norris out, yellow flag. And Latifi is now in the pits. He is going to come out at the back, probably behind even Norris.
Now just take a look at the McLaren.
Same that Tsunoda did, basically. There we go, Latifi is out. Bit less spacey to work with than I thought he would have, but we'll put him on aggressive for fuel. And we'll try and get him through it as quickly as we can. We'll also just have him recharge while doing so. Stroll here, kind of the same thing. Just need to close the gaps to the cars in front. And if anyone pits, we will take advantage of them, basically. So we'll keep things going. I'll try and get through the pack, and I'll be back when we have pit stops happening. So we had a bit of an interesting one here. Both Verstappen and Rick have now pitted. And as you can see, Latifi beat both of them out. So that is a huge win. Stroll, however, did not beat them out, which is understandable. He's still a good 10 seconds behind Rick here. So Stroll does have a lot of work ahead of him. But the fact that Latifi's out ahead of both is very encouraging. But at the same time, it makes it even more important now to just get through the packer as quickly as possible. Latifi should beat all of these that are pitting, as you can see. So the gaps that are forming are going to be good, but we do need to, you know, get through every single car ahead of us as quickly as possible, because, well, we need them to slow down the cars behind. And that is the general idea. So, as I said, I don't see Leclerc even contemplating pitting here, honestly. Do have a few more pit stops happening, though. And Verstappen is still running with me, same with Rick. So that does kind of cause a bit of concern here. Stroll is up into 14th, so once again, couldn't beat the Perez or Sainz, I believe, when they pitted. Gonna be rough there. But they are on the mediums. They are going to be falling off pretty quickly, and they should be able to catch up the cars in front. Even so, even more jumps here in the pit stops for Latifi. Did Albon? Albon did not come out ahead. As you can see, everyone ahead now is old hard runners. We're 18 seconds off the lead. But in general here, this should be potential for us just straight up climbing through. And probably catching Gasly, podium position. Might not catch Leclerc. Just 12 laps to go. But there are opportunities here that we will be, of course, looking into taking. So hopefully we can make something happen. It's going to be rough either way. Third car in a DRS train is not a bad position to be, though. So hopefully we can just get up to second here and then get him on the straight. We kind of did. And Verstappen lost out. That's huge. And we should get him with hit on the straight now. Just straight up. There we go. Now, I would love to get a bit of a bigger gap, but we don't really have any energy to waste. We are wasting a bit of, you know, fuel. But I don't think the gap is going to be big enough even if we do this. So for now, we're just going to be basically the leading car and charging down Gasly. The others are going to get a bit of a DRS boost. It's just nothing I can do with that. Stroll, though, should be able to get Perez here pretty quick. And if not, we'll just give him a bit of helping with the overtake. And he did. It probably would have done it without the overtake there, to be honest. But he is making his way up. And that's the thing. But the problem is Latifi's driving this train. We need to get a different driver. Otherwise, Stroll just doesn't have a chance, and he immediately did get re-overtaken.
It's a
So
race position gained for Mercedes.
even that doesn't benefit us. But of course, Stroll did have that spin. It did cause some pain. But our lap times are looking very, very good here. Full second ahead of, well, these cars. Just 3/10 quicker than... sorry, over a second. No, sorry, math is hard. Just 3 seconds quicker than Leclerc. So Leclerc is safe. But I'm guessing we could potentially fight Gasly, potentially fight Magnussen. 7 laps to go, though. Gasly for sure. Magnussen is going to be a bit of a tough nut to reach, I think. But we do have fuel, so let's use it.
Mercedes moved up a place.
And Latifi has actually stopped driving this train, which is going to help Stroll somewhat, but they're still 7 seconds behind. Gaining about half a second, yeah. Stroll's going to have a rough time. We could probably recharge behind Perez. But I think Stroll needs to drive this train if we are to have any, chance of catching up. Latifi has actually gotten Gasly without me realizing. You can actually have a look at the overtake.
Look. We're watching Nicholas Latifi.
DRS on the main straight. Pretty good. Well, the pit straight. And Stroll is still just messing about with Perez. Minister of Defense is not letting him go. Now, we are running close to 2 seconds quicker than Magnussen, so we should definitely be able to catch him. But Leclerc does seem to be a bit of a lost cause here, and as long as we have Perez being a problem and, slowing us down, I don't see Stroll here really having an opportunity to get into the points. So we're going to waste a bit of ERS here, try and get things done. Going to go a bit more aggressive on the tires. It's a bit of a gamble. Stroll actually did get a bunch of free air there, which is good. And if we can find our way up to Albon, that would be amazing. But that's going to be rough. It's just 4 laps to go. Most of my thoughts are on Latifi, of course. So we'll have to see here. For once, 4x might be a bit too quick. Thinking for Stroll, though, that we tune him down just a tad, we recharge 1 lap. It will give us very little time to work with, in all honesty. But we are going to need energy, we are going to need everything here if we want to, get some moves done here towards the end of this race. Fuel is also an issue. And we have a safety car. And Latifi did get... did Latifi get overtaken under the safety car, or did Latifi have the incident? Something is weird here. Magnussen had the incident, and I think it's caused problems for Latifi.
We've had a crash.
I want to see what happened here because...
All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here.
Yeah, that's Latifi.
And there we see the crash.
Okay, so I guess the law reason there is Latifi noticed Magnussen locking up and, turned his wheel to avoid it and slid out. And that gave Gasly an opportunity to just slide in there. That's very annoying, but not much we can do about that. I don't think we might have 1 racing lap here, so it does offer Latifi some opportunities, even so, but it's a shame that we basically we didn't technically lose a position, but we lost the position because of that. So we will have to see here. No matter how we do this, it's gonna be a bit rough. Oh, safety car is actually coming in. Okay then, 2 laps, full attack, full push. Keep it at neutral until we get to the line, I guess. But this is also going to be a bit of a gamble.
The safety car will be in this lap.
I feel like I want to watch the last couple of laps here, my apologies, but we are going to do that. Tiffy is just ready to attack immediately, and that's a lot of space he was just given there. Remember, it's just 2 laps to go now.
Okay, we can easily overtake.
Keep in mind, we do have some pretty significant tire advantages on every car in front of us.
That's your last lap, mate. Last lap.
And this is the final lap, so just use everything.
Overtake is available if needed.
Copy.
This is when I need the take risks button. We might get one car, but I don't think we're getting Leclerc. And we might get one car, maybe two here for Russell. It's going to be a bit of a... Sorry, Russell for Stroll. It's going to be depending on if he gets someone into this corner or not. And it looks like he is going to get the Merc. The question is just, is it going to come back at him? DCA is struggling to get by. And Stroll kind of doing the same thing.
Just gained by Williams.
So let's see it now. We have full energy, full everything. Honestly, I should just use deploy. So that you just use everything.
Make sure you give some energy.
Copy.
And this should mean we get maybe the Alpha. If we're brave on the brakes, we might even have taken out the Red Bull. Stroll did get one as well. Oh, but Ocon came back at him. So not the worst race. Let's face it, if Stroll didn't have that spin that put him last, slowed him down tremendously, this could have been a bit more of an interesting one. Latifi kind of finished where he should have finished. I don't think we would have called Leclerc without, of course, the safety car. So, not the worst race we've ever had, but at the same time, the spin did cost us. Red Bull first and sixth. We have us in second and seventh, handily beaten. Alpha in third, Rick in fourth, Albon fifth in an Alpha. Kind of impressive. Then we have McLaren finishing out the points with Ocon. Driver Championship then, no changes, but Leclerc is just now a singular point behind us. So I might have been wrong in who was the real threat here, but he does have a fresher engine, and we'll have to see if Verstappen puts one in for Spain, because if he does, we might just cry. So yeah, we do definitely need to still develop our car to make it somewhat more competitive. 9 points now ahead of Red Bull. They gained another 3. So, yeah, not looking good. Alpha in third, though. Impressing. And Alpha scoring their first points of the season, jumping both the other teams there. So, yeah, a bit of an interesting one so far, honestly. Not much else to say, really. But yeah, we'll also have to consider Stroll and, of course, the damage to components from that crash in P3. Practice 3. At this point, we'll go into cornering. Next point, we'll go into adaptability. And we'll just keep on balancing him all the way up. Up-and-coming driver, Carlos Rice. 22-year-old, 52. I'd have to say I disagree with that, Fred. We're exceeding expectations, though. That's always nice to see. But hopefully we can actually make something happen once we get, again, the big upgrade package with both wings and the underfloor. Chassis is in low stock. I'd argue that the front wings too are kind of low stock. Why is one of us running the... Why are you guys not running the same chassis? What is this? I probably, you know, made a mistake there at some point, but that's still confusing. And we'll put both front wings on. Sorry, not put them on. Manufacture. And I'm just going to double check here. Of course, I did forget that we had Sidepods under manufacturing because they take so long. I don't think we actually had these before the race because I think I checked. But we'll be putting these on the car. They'll be, as you can see, left is the current car. It's actually quite a... It's a buff in top speed. It's a buff in cornering. We are actually starting to lose out quite significantly in the low speed department. So we do need those new parts. And currently, they look like they're going to be coming in 2 weeks' time for 2 of them. And 3 weeks' time for the last one, which would put us in right before the race. We won't have them for the race. We'll have everything for Baku, which could be quite funny, honestly. But I'm thinking we're going to get Spain done. We're going to get Monaco done, and then we'll see. Then I'll start editing it. We'll see where we're at. Porsche got some points there. Again, we'll just... I wanted to start balancing you too, didn't I? So put one in adaptability, one in accuracy. Make balanced drivers. Average Joes, if you will. Chassis has been manufactured. We have race prep for Spain. Honestly, this is also one of those fun tracks where you can have a huge race, so looking forward to it. Let's see how it goes. Some good and some bad news before this race. As you can see, Latifi is 15th. Not due to a poor qualifying, but due to running out of fuel in Q1, which denied him running Q2 and, well, consequently Q3. Stroll, on the other hand, qualified second, which is pretty strong. But we're going to take penalties here for Latifi. It's just very unfortunate that it, ironically enough, was Leclerc that blocked him from pitting. And that was painful. But it is what it is, can't really do anything about it. As you can see here, 2 stoppers are expected strategies. Tires are basically softs and mediums is what we want to be on. Softs are going to be quicker than mediums for a good 20 laps. And the hards are going to be quicker than them for, well, the hards aren't going to be quicker than mediums. It's going to take 40 laps of hard running and medium running for them to become equal. So we're going to be staying away from them completely. 24-second pit lane, again, pretty mid-length. 40% chance safety car, not high, so we probably can't get one to save us. We will be doing the soft, medium, soft strategy. There's just no better option here. And we will be doing it for both cars. So just start on the softs, go on the mediums after around 20 laps, run the mediums until there's about 20 laps after the race, and then we'll go on to the softs again. So we will be slightly editing this. Let's see here, there's 66 laps, so lap 46. Again, doesn't really change much in terms of time, but just gives us that tiny bit more flexibility in terms of the pit stops. We'll be pitting slightly earlier than the other teams, which is always beneficial. And that is the idea here. We are going to be doing 25 laps on the mediums, which is fine. And honestly, that is what we're going to do in terms of that. Just go overtake immediately, same here. If we're lucky, Leclerc is on a slower strategy and we can just pull away from him immediately. He is the pole runner. And as I said, we are taking penalties for... I'm a dummy. I forgot to do this. We're not actually taking penalties for Latifi here. So I should actually do this on Stroll as well. I actually forgot about this rule. That's how scatterbrained I was at the start of the season. But yeah, we'll be getting that done during next race practice, that last gearbox. And we'll be just running fresh here. We honestly should have done this earlier. That's my bad. We had an opportunity to take penalties, but we can't because I am a dum-dum. So let's just get into the race and see where we're at in terms of gains and losses.
One of the oldest races on the Formula 1 calendar.
I see yellow. That is promising.
It's lights out and away
I think I see yellow on both Red Bulls. Yeah, Russell is, there's a couple of hard runners in the back. Generally a lot of, non-reds in top 10. That's good. Stroll immediately gains first place, which is not that surprising. Latifi here should also be able to get some work made basically immediately. So it does look, does honestly look here pretty promising. Does have Bottas to contend with though, then Norris, so 2 pretty good drivers right in front of us. And I think that's also what's causing, Latifi to struggle to get by. There's just no space to move into after it gets the move done. To get it done now though. And as I said, because of the tires, I think Latifi is going to be moving up pretty quick. Kind of same here like Vettel. And Stroll has already almost gained that full second. He has gained that full second, so already looking incredibly promising here for us. Gained a good 1.5 seconds on that first lap. Now for Latifi, we're going to let him push a little bit further, but Stroll here, we're just gonna tune down his energy usage once we get to, about 30-40% maybe. Again, the wider this gap is, the better for us. So here we want to tune it down. We actually use kind of a tad too much there, but it should be okay. And I'll be focusing on Latifi now. He's already up to 11th. I don't see him having too many problems there, really, just getting up. It's going to be just making our way through the DRS train, recharging, saving a bit of fuel, going back and forth on, making up positions and kind of chilling. So we'll be dealing with that. We'll see where we're at, but already up into the top 10. Made 5 positions in, well, less than that laps. And as I said, I'll be working on getting him even higher. We'll see if Stroll can keep on extending here. Half a second here. Looking very, very promising. So we'll keep things running, and we'll see where we're at around the first pit stop, around lap 20. Now getting very close to that first pit window. As you can see, we're on lap 18. Stroll has eked out about a 7-second gap. And Latifi is just 10 seconds behind Stroll, just 3 seconds behind second, and just overtook to get 6th place. So he's doing a really, really good job. There is a bit of a gap here, though, forming.
Keep doing what you're doing.
So that is a bit of a problem. But what I'm thinking is that we're going to get Stroll in on probably the next lap, I think. We'll have to see, though, because if the timings are still good, like he's running 21.7s, they're actually equal there. So I'm thinking this is a good time. We'll get Stroll in. The problem is he's probably going to come out in some pretty harsh traffic, which is, of course, going to be a bit bad. But let's face it, it's a lot of one tires here. There are some gaps, although there aren't many, and they're not that big. I still think it should be okay. Gonna come out in potentially 16th here, so with the Geo train. And if we push this lap and they're just a tad slow, we might be able to get him in a bit sooner. I'm thinking we do pit Latifi 2 this lap. He's even one tires than Verstappen. We have been pushing him to make up these places with tire usage mainly, so we save some energy. And the idea here is very simply by using this that we'll be able to take tiny bit of an advantage when we come out, have energy ready for ERS. Haven't really recharged Stroll any, because I didn't think there would be much of a need, but we'll see. So we're getting the pit stops done here. Stroll is coming out. He is going to come out actually behind Ocon, so we're going to have some work cut out for us here in terms of getting, you know, through this ERS train. Latifi had a much more preferable pit stop here. He's still going to come out behind the Hasses, but he's going to have a much easier job of making something, you know, happen compared to Stroll here. So we'll have to see exactly how we do this, but it looks like Stroll is immediately going to get Ocon. So Latifi up to the Hasses, should have no problem just overtaking with just a little bit of help. And it looks like also, as I said here, that Stroll isn't having any issues either. And within just a couple of laps here, the soft runners are going to pit, but they aren't actually the concern. We have a lot of medium runners ahead of us. So we'll see how we handle that. But for now, it's looking good. Just pushing fuel is actually allowing us to get the overtakes done here. So looking very, very good. Soft runners do now pit. And we should come out handily in front of them. And Latifi does too, which is good. He actually got the jobs done here, even though I was focused on Stroll. So currently, we're about 15 seconds off the lead. Remember, we had about a 7-second gap. Magnussen is now pitting. See how close we get to... We actually beat him by quite a margin there, so that's good. I'm going to give Stroll overtake here now, because he only has 2 cars between him and Freedom. And the quicker we get through these cars, the better. Once we get through them, we can just cruise out front. And I would assume he has actually already got it done there. So Verstappen pits, Rick pits. Only Leclerc has yet to pit. And we also set fastest lap on top of it. Is Latifi going to come out ahead of Verstappen? He does. So with that, pit stop did pay off massively. But at the same time, we still have Magnussen in front of us. So, and we also have Gio and Leclerc needing to pit. So still, I'd say that is a very acceptable outcome for Latifi. He should come out just ahead of Leclerc, I think. Maybe. Probably not. Leclerc's already got his pit stop done. So didn't actually beat Leclerc out, but still made up some there on the pit stop itself. And they're all onto mediums, so I'm assuming we're going to have a purely hard stint there to the end. Sorry, not hard. What am I even saying? A soft stint to the end. So I'll be focusing a bit on Latifi, just getting his work done. Stroll did extend his lead by about 2.5 seconds by pitting early, but I'm assuming Leclerc will cut this down a little bit just due to tire advantage. For now though, as I said, focus a little bit on Latifi, see if we can close down Leclerc. It's going to be rough. Again, Leclerc has tire advantage. So yeah, it's going to be a bit challenging there, but at least we are in a position where we can, once we do pit again for that final stint, maybe get a bit of a jump on them. We are going to need, we're going to need to try and keep up though, and right now Leclerc is just that much faster than Latifi. That's going to be difficult, but at least we'll be sticking with Verstappen and potentially have a go at 4th. It's just very unfortunate that we had that fuel problem during quali. So, as said, I'll work on Latifi and we'll see where we end up. Currently, it's not looking promising for Latifi, 5 seconds behind, but it's not looking promising for Stroll either, and the reason for that is actually incredibly simple. Leclerc and Magnussen are, every single lap, as you can see right now, swapping positions. So their lap times, they gain about half a tenth every single lap they do that. So you can see now Leclerc swing by Magnussen, and the time go down. So they're getting a huge advantage here on the main straight, if they didn't have DRS, we'd be running about equal times. So they're actually DRS pulling each other into a position where they'll catch up, pulling away from Latifi. And thank the heavens that Magnussen just had a bit of an incident there, because that should stop the DRS, which means that we should probably retain, well, at least lose less of this gap that we have. So let's be honest, half a second, 10, 12 laps, they would have been within striking distance. And remember, we have more used tires, so they would have a bit of an advantage there. We'll have to see when we get Stroll on the softs. We might just do it 2-3 laps earlier. We'll have to see. It probably would be for the best if we did. So we'll see what the gaps are, what we can do. But right now it's looking very promising. I'm pitting Stroll early, getting a little bit of free air, 2 DRS trains to play with and get through. And I think we'll do that. Just pit him around lap 43, 44 maybe. So we'll just go full attack here, push a little bit, try and get that gap up again. And we could honestly do the same in for Latifi as well, but honestly we probably should do the same in for Latifi as well, because the softs are just going to be quicker. A lot quicker, even if we do stretch them a little bit above 20 laps. So we'll be pitting very, very shortly. And as you say, Latifi just doesn't have the pace to keep up with Magnussen and Leclerc. It is unfortunate, but it is what it is. He is a tad slower. Just can't make anything happen there. Verstappen has also had an incident that I missed. We have entered the pit window, and as I said, I'm thinking we are going to get Stroll just in this lap, getting onto that fresh soft. And we'll do the same for Latifi. Just want to wait a little bit longer so that I'm sure that he's clear of the pit lane. And then we will order him into the pits as well. So we're pitting a tad bit early, but I think it's worth it in just the time we're going to be able to get. And for Latifi here, it might be a bit more of a busy window to pit into. But I think it'll still be fine. He'll come out probably around Norris, maybe just before him. That's going to be the hope. So should probably push fuel then to make that a little bit more viable. But I think it should be okay here. Stroll is now in the pit lane. And we want him to come out ahead of these boys. That's going to be the big goal. And he does just behind Verstappen, but he should be able to, you know, get by him very easily. So we have a lot of free air now to play with. And as I said, I think Stroll will get out pretty quick. Latifi got out ahead of these boys, but he is going to have a bit of a 5-man DRS trainer to deal with. And, well, they're all on mediums, so we'll see what we can do there. I still think it shouldn't be too much of a problem to just get through. And I still think we'll be fine. Keep overtake here to Stroll. Just get by a bit quicker. Again, I'm gonna push fuel here for Stroll a little bit. Probably shouldn't, honestly. Tire wears just a bit more advantageous here. But I think we'll already pretty quickly and now just see far better lap times than our competitors. And that's what we're gonna be banking on. Just pitting a little bit earlier, getting those gaps, maybe have Latifi again close down that 5-second gap. It's gonna be challenging, particularly when he's stuck in the DRS train. But at the same time, I'm thinking it might be worth it. So 19.6 there, so we're already running a second quicker than the cars in front. So if we can get Latifi through this train quick enough, he still does have opportunities. Multiple cars crash, that's bad for us. Because one of them is Stroll by the looks of things.
Now let's have a look. It's Lance Stroll.
Okay, that is...
It's caused absolute carnage.
That's not even Stroll's fault.
The team are devastated. They'll be questioning just what happened out there.
I want to see a replay because I don't know who we hit there. It was one of the Mercs, but which one? It wasn't Paris, because Paris was in the pits, I'm pretty sure. We got major front wing damage, so we're gonna need to pit again. Yeah, no safety car. So we had a huge opportunity here, but it immediately got ruined, and we're just gonna stay with the same softs because it's the best one. We're not gonna be switching tires, we're just gonna be switching front wing. Well, we could push into the pits and switch to the other set of softs. It's just I'm clicking every wrong thing right now. Let's do it like this. But yeah, this is... that ruins our race again, and it's not even our fault here.
Sounds like a few cars have crashed.
I want to see here who it was. and what actually
now,
happened.
Just watch the Mercedes here.
Mercedes runs wide and turns into the track,
And
hits
there's
Stroll, and it was Russell. That's very annoying. I'm wondering where Stroll's actually going to come out now. So Latifi's gotten himself a bit of free air here now. That's good. Still 32 seconds behind the lead, so no chance we're getting that. Stroll is going to come out in clean air, so he still does have somewhat of a chance of at least getting in the points. But this is incredibly frustrating, honestly. We're just gonna have to push here, try and do the best out of this, but again, it's still not very good. Magnussen now pits. He's gonna come out probably behind
Doing very
Latifi.
good. Lap time are
Nah,
good. Lap time are
Latifi's
good.
actually a tad slower, and Magnussen is on fresher softs. Well, actually equal softs, so it's not bad. If we can catch up to Magnussen, we might have a chance here. Leclerc does now pit. No chance we jump him. The only hope it would be Rick holding him up, but Rick and Verstappen are both pitting, so that ain't happening either. Latifi's currently running third, which is good for him. Let's see, can Stroll jump anyone? Stroll jumped up to 8th, still got Verstappen in front of him. For Latifi here again, would really love it if he could catch up to Magnussen, but that's going to be a bit rough. Just don't think we have the speed here. We are going to push fuel, of course, and see if we can get there. But at the same time here, we're now in very rough territory. Everyone ahead of us has pitted, so we're going to have to do this on pure pace and merit. Which is going to be, as I said, a bit rough. But we'll do the best out of this. Honestly, I don't think we'll really be able to make something happen here. The only thing is, if Latifi catches up to Magnussen, we might get second instead of third. And for Stroll here, it's a 4.5 second gap. We don't really have any fuel to push for Stroll either. About to run out. So it's going to be a rough one, but we'll make the best we can out of this and see if we can get some points.
Look. Now let's look at this. Here's George Russell. Just a bit too heavy on
Ah,
the brakes,
karma.
and they've locked up.
Honestly, I was afraid though that he was going to kill Stroll
That's
again.
going to be a big...
That was kind of scary. But that does give us an extra point here, potentially. Well, extra point, extra position. 4.5 seconds behind Verstappen, lapping about equal. So again, not really much we can do. Latifi is there with Magnussen. I'm thinking we're going to try and recharge some energy for that fight. And generally here, unless we have incidents, I don't see us, gaining anything more than a second for Latifi, 6 for Stroll. But we'll do our best. We're getting very close to the end there. Latifi is running out of tyre though. As you can see, we do have a pretty significant tyre disadvantage. But we are getting close to the last few laps here. The problem now is actually to Astons. We are going to get them blue flagged, of course, but at the same time, they are going to be a concern. So 2 laps now left, 38% on tyres. We're going to push fuel. Because if we get through the DRS train ahead of Magnussen, well, not the DRS train, the blue flags train, I think we'll hold the advantage. So we're going to gamble just a tad here and try and get to the back of the Astons here, maybe get DRS on the straight, and we're not getting that, but Magnussen is actually going to re-overtake us. So going to give overtake. I don't think we're going to gamble on pushing tyres, just, well, we are going to have to do that, just try and get by.
Is that a lockup?
And as you can see, we are just straight up slow at this stage. Go on, Latifi. Doesn't look very promising, honestly, but still, a podium is a podium, we'll take that. Tyres did give...
Okay, and checkered flag.
give out a bit too much there. We did push a bit too hard probably in trying to just catch up to Magnussen to get into that DRS zone, but it definitely helped us to at least get third. Big shame for Stroll here. Probably would have had victory on the cards, honestly. It is what it is. And we do still get a decent amount of points, but we're once again beaten by both Red Bulls, and I think they're actually ahead of us in the championship now. Alpha scores good points, Alpine scores good points, but yeah, just disappointing that Russell decides to just straight up take us out. I'm wondering if he's a secret agent, but this does actually give us now kind of a fight for the championship, which is going to be good. It's going to make it more interesting. Leclerc, I discounted him a bit before the season start. Thought it was Verstappen we were going to be fighting, but no, Leclerc is going to apparently be the pain right now. Championship-wise, we're still in the lead, but we have definitely, gotten closer to Red Bull. Well, they're getting closer to us. So, once again, not the best race there. Hopefully no damage to Stroll's components. Shouldn't be. And again, just a bit of a shame that I forgot about the fact that you need to use all your components before you can start taking penalties. Because honestly, we haven't been in the back, so I haven't actually considered that. I did put in editability here by mistake, because I can still put this to 90, so yeah, I'll live with it. Other than that, Vac actually has development points, put them in the underfloor. Again, should probably do these boys balanced too, but at this stage we are getting very close to the next year's game. So if I had more challenge games down the line, then maybe we'd change things around. We are getting the new underfloor, and I believe we're also getting the new front wing. We'll have them manufactured and ready for... We could actually have them ready for the race, I think, if we rush them. We'll have one front wing ready for the race itself. And for the underfloor, we definitely won't have them ready for the race, but we'll have one ready for Baku at the very least. We might actually have one ready for race day, we'll see. In terms of what we can expect out of them in terms of performance, let's have a quick look here. Front wing is going to help us in the high-speed department, and it's also going to put us not last in brake cooling. So, bit of an improvement there. Very nice to see. And the underfloor is actually not that huge of an upgrade. So, a lot of teams have done huge strides in getting back that low-speed cornering that they lost before the season. So, we'll have to see how both of them work together in terms of giving us a boost. But it's promising, for sure. Now, the next thing we want to do is, of course, make new parts. Let's get to it. We're currently making rear wing. We have a sidepod project, but I believe that what we need to do here is actually do a chassis with CFD, unless I am mistaken and don't remember correctly. But I think it's the chassis turn. If I'm mistaken, please correct me. And of course, we are going to do this in race trim. It's CFD. It's wasted if we don't. And it's actually going to be a huge upgrade. Look at that, 0.07 kph. Okay. This is actually a significant upgrade in terms of just top speed. Tiny upgrade in cornering, again, not that big of a deal, but we'll definitely take it for the boost there in top speed. And the other project that we're going to do is, of course, Sidepods, because we haven't done them yet, the third iteration. So, again, I'll have to think about what we want to do in terms of getting other things done. So apparently this would actually be purely a downgrade. Did I do optimized aero last time around, or am I mistaken? Optimized cooling? Well, I guess we are doing an optimized cooling then that we won't actually use, because we're not getting any upgrades if we do this. So we'll do an optimized cooling side part. We're going to put it on the car. Gonna need some more safety if you want that. We are getting to the point where we're getting severely diminished returns. And we have Monaco coming up, which also is going to be a bit of an interesting race. So let us see how this plays out. Let's head into Monaco, and I think that will be the last race of this episode. It might be a bit long, but please bear with me. There's been actually quite a few eventful races. Hopefully this one is going to be a little bit more chill. As you can see, we actually did manage to get a singular front wing done for the race itself. So let's just have a look at how it compares, how it is compared to the one that we currently have. It's going to boost our car by, a little bit. Again, the high-speed corners are going to be good, but there's virtually none here. Well, there are a couple, but traditional high-speed corners. And the low-speed corners is basically just one rank, but it's still going to help. It's still a nice little upgrade. And we're going to give it to Stroll. We're just going to have that singular front wing, though. And he'll only have one practice to get used to it, so good luck on that. But yeah, that is all we really managed to make. Don't think we'll get the underfloor in time. Can always check before the race, but we'll get practice done now, and then quali, and then we'll see where we're at for the starting grid. Hopefully a bit better than 8, but then again, we are running pretty one part, but we have a pretty good setup here for both our drivers, so I have my hopes up this is going to be a good race. And already qualifying here, 3rd and 6th. It's not the best that we could hope for in Monaco. I think we're just a few hundreds of 2nd place, but it's fine. Expected strategies here are 1 stops from, well, virtually everyone. So what I'm very tempted to do is actually start on the hards and go long. But I think what we'll do here is start on the mediums and play it a bit safe. It's going to give us a little bit more flexibility. Degradation here isn't super bad for the mediums either. 20 laps should be no problem. And as you can see here, the softs are actually hugely advantageous if we can get ahead of the other cars. So maybe starting on the softs here are the play 5/10s, 25 laps advantage over the mediums. And in terms of advantage to the hards, it's about 20 laps. So if you consider that, it might be worth it. Short pit lane, just 22 seconds. So if we could get that gap going for at least Stroll, that could be worth it. But at the same time, it's a bit of a tough call, honestly. With this, we'd be going really long on the softs here to make this work. But I still think it might be worth to do the gamble, just so we maybe get by both Leclerc and, of course, what's his name? Leclerc. And it's a gamble that we're going to do. We can pit a couple laps early if we need to, and as you can see here, it is Monaco. We can always just save tires a little bit on the windier parts, or that will windier, more turny parts, swingy parts, the corners, although that is going to require more micromanagement. This is what we're going to be going for: split strategy, medium, soft, try and make our way up and hopefully get something out of this race. Again, this is usually a pretty chill one. If you're up front, you're usually going to stay there. So I see red and I see yellow, which means we have advantage. And what I mean by this is actually incredibly simple. Verstappen is on old softs, we're on fresh. Same for Ocon, Magnussen. That could actually help Latifi a bit. But yeah, this could be good for us if we get a good start, which it looks like we didn't. McLaren might actually come on an attack here, and that is bad. It looks like we did. Ocon is still attacking us, and again, that is kind of bad for us if he stays there. Do need to try and get, as I said, the Red Bulls quickly, so I'm very tempted to go a little bit aggressive on the tires and try my best here. Latifi gets Bottas, but Bottas got him, so stay put. But as I said, we do need to get Leclerc probably as soon as possible. And we'll see if we go aggressive or not. I think we'll wheel, and then, as I said, might need to just stretch those hards a little bit more than we might have hoped for. But I think it's going to be worth it if we can stay with Verstappen, and of course get that gap to the cars behind. That's going to be the goal. So we're going to tune it down now. We're actually going to be happy with just staying behind Verstappen here. And I'm thinking we go a little bit aggressive on Latifi as well. And if we can pull away from Leclerc, that would actually be brilliant. That way we'll only have to fight Verstappen for the pit stop. Latifi is fighting, and he did get the position here. And honestly, if he can get to the back of Bottas, we can kind of just park him there. That's not a bad place to be. Of course, if we can get some more stretches going here in the field as well, that would also be really good. But I think this is fine. We can just park him here now. We can start saving some fuel, saving the tires a bit. And I think I'll be back unless we have some incidents around the first pit stop. So around lap, well, close to lap 30, 25. We'll see where we stand. Just entered our pit window. Stroll is still with Verstappen. And Norris is actually pitting this lap. Okay, so Norris is one of the soft runners. I think we are going to go full attack and get in ourselves.
Let's close this gap.
We are, as you see, about 20 seconds ahead of Russell. But Russell is now running alone. Which means that potentially here, if we just get Verstappen now, before the pit stop,
You have the overtake.
that could benefit us greatly. Now, Latifi here, I'm tempted to kind of swap strategies on. Even if we do pit him, though, he's going to come out into this cluster. So we are going to need him to, run for a little bit longer. We were with Leclerc. Leclerc managed to take up Ocon. We did sacrifice a bit of tire, a bit of energy to try and get by Ocon. Just couldn't do it. And that did cause some pain. So we'll see now how we go about this. Curious if Stroll's going to do any attacks before this pit stop. Okay, Stroll did not pit. Did I not tell him? I did not. I did not tell him to. I'm an idiot. Did I tell Latifi to? Nope. Okay, so pit stop window came, and I thought I pit or ordered him to pit, but clearly I did not. Okay. That does give us an opportunity to get ahead of Verstappen. And, you know, getting into the pits in that manner. But Leclerc has closed us down a bit. Gap to Russell isn't particularly convincing, but we do now have a slight gap to Verstappen if he chooses to pit with us. He did not. And the goal is to beat out Russell. And that should be doable. We actually come out behind Bottas. And a little bit of a gaggle of cars here, which is going to be potentially a problem. So let's see if we can just get by them immediately. Because we do need to, you know, have a bit of high speed. We actually got behind Perez, but we did get him here. We should get Bottas on the main straight. And a lot of them actually pitted, which does give us, you know,
Check the DRS.
Yeah.
bit of freedom then. So a lot of cars pitted here. I think we'll have Latifi get in this lap. And as you can see, Stroll is almost caught up to him. So that is the gap between the two of them. And consider the fact that Latifi is basically a pit stop behind. That does not paint a very promising picture. But it is what it is. We'll get Latifi in this lap. Verstappen is pitting too. Let's see if we can beat him out. I hope we do. Yeah, we should. With a decent gap there. And we actually have Perez now as kind of a blockage. So that is good. Perez is also not getting DRS. We do have slightly more used tires. Latifi is now in 8th. And of the cars in front of him, 4 or 5 of them haven't pitted. Let's face it, he's not going to get Leclerc. But he might get the rest. So 4 positions up to 4. Would be very, very nice if he can pull it off. Let's tune down his tires. And currently, we don't really want to do anything. Maybe recharge a little bit of ERS here on Stroll. Just a little bit so he has something to work with. But the gaps here are really, really favoring us right now. And as long as the longer Perez is, you know, a roadblock here for Verstappen, the better for us. Leclerc, as said, has yet to pit. So, currently leading. We'll have to see if we can keep it up to the end, though. It's still over 40 laps to go. Latifi also looking kind of good here. Leclerc does now pit. Stroll should have no problem beating him out. Neither should Verstappen. But he is free now. Let's see where actually Latifi comes out. He's currently up in 6th. And again, still 2 cars ahead of him that needs to pit. But he might need to actually overtake them on merit now. And for Rick, it shouldn't be a problem, honestly. The main concern I have now is, as you can see here, Verstappen got really slowed down by the other cars. Yeah, Verstappen is going to probably catch up to Stroll. And we're going to have to kind of play defensively. I'm tempted to just recharge my ERS before that happens, but I think we're still fine. So for now, we'll just leave things be. Might give Latifi a little bit of a hand here if he doesn't get by Rick within the next couple of laps. But honestly, I think we're good. Russell is now in the pits as well, so don't need to be too concerned there. I'm going to harvest now for Latifi, and we're going to try and get the overtake on the straight this time around. Go neutral. Go overtake, and this is probably going to use all the energy. But if we can just get by, it would definitely help our chances here. And there we are. Got by Rick pretty simply, up into 4th, which is probably, unless something very special happens, where we might end. And for Stroll here, he's going to have 2 Red Bulls to contend with, so it's going to be interesting to see if we can hold on to this position. For now, though, we'll just allow time to pass, and if anything changes, I'll be back. Verstappen overtakes Stroll, 8 laps to go, and let's be honest there, we don't really have anything to fight with, that's the problem. And as you can see here, the other Red Bull has also caught up, and we can't really recharge or do anything here. We do have fuel that we can push, but we don't have the tire to support the push of the fuel, which sounds weird, I know, but we don't really. Latifi running his own little train back here with 2 other cars. Again, can't really do anything for him either, unfortunately. So for now, Stroll just kind of has to hold on. And the last couple of laps, we're just going to have to try and make something happen. However, we are now coming up to a very big, back market train. We're going to have blue flags. And Stroll lost out big time due to the blue flags. Look at this. He's out of DRS. And honestly, that sucks. But we don't have the tires to really push. It's going to compromise our fight with Leclerc if we do. But I think we're going to have to just try it here. It's just very annoying that the back markers do once again ruin races. We actually lost 3 seconds to Verstappen while trying to get by a back marker ourselves. So getting through this mess is going to be rough, particularly once we catch up to Vettel and the rest there. But we are going to just push fuel now for, as I said, Stroll, to try and close down that gap, get within DRS range, and maybe launch an attack towards the end of the race. Again, tire is a concern, but it's a gamble, and we're doing it currently. So Gio has actually been with us for quite a while too, I think 20 laps, so he probably should have been able to attack, to be fair. Honestly though, as you see, even with pushing fuel, we aren't really closing the gap. We could, of course, push energy here, and I think Vettel is now going to, slow us down even more. Lost 3 tenths there going through Vettel. But Verstappen should potentially now, once he catches up to, of course, the 4 men here, maybe slow down just a tad bit. But by the time he does get there, I think the race will be over, virtually. So it's a bit of a shame. I think if it's happening in reality, we have 3 cars battling. And then the back market train just causes this much mayhem. People wouldn't be happy, but it is what it is. Can't really do anything about it. It's a bit unfortunate that we couldn't hold on, but it's Verstappen. And I'm pretty sure he has fresh car parts too, so I'm just going to check that quick before the race is over. Verstappen has fresh everything, basically. ERS doesn't have too much to say on lap timings until it takes damage. So Verstappen wins. We do get 2nd place though, so it's not all bad. And hopefully Latifi can hold on to 4th here. I think he will. Kind of hard to overtake. And he does, so not too bad. Improvements from our quali for sure. And we are getting that big upgrade package next race, although Lance has already had part of it for this one. It's just a bit unfortunate, once again. Drivers here, we are now overtaken by Leclerc. Well, we got overtaken last time by Leclerc, honestly. We caught up 2 points here, my bad. Verstappen has also caught up quite a bit here, so potentially a 4-way fight for the title this season. Constructors' Championship here. Red Bull is just now a singular point behind us. So that upgrade package really needs to come in handy here if we want to, I think, have any sort of chance. Kind of skipped the results there. Sorry about that. Should have had a bit of a look. I think McLaren was pretty high up, which is, of course, huge for them. But I am going to have to end the episode here. I am going to have to run very shortly, and if I want to get this out today, I'm going to cut it slightly short. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. I've had a lot of fun. And as I said, we'll be trying to force through this season and maybe the next one within the next 10 days. So expect a lot of videos. I am on vacation. Rain has not come yet, unfortunately, so it's still rather hot. But I'll do my best to get everything out. And hope you're all excited for 23. Actually, I'm starting to feel a bit excited myself. Bye-bye.